Well, good afternoon, everyone. Pnawn da pawb. It's lovely to see you all today. Thank you very much to Cerys and Teleri for organising this event for me. So I'm going to be doing a bit of a kind of promotion of local giving, but also talking to you just about how crowdfunding works. So if you're not on for crowdfunding, you're on the wrong session. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you about online digital fundraising, how it all operates, and get you to think about how you would maybe set up that for yourselves. What would be really helpful for me to start off with would be if I could just go round, if you could introduce yourself and tell me who you're representing today. And then I'll get a bit of a flavour for what additional things to cover in the presentation. So if I just work around the screen, that'd be great. So first is Matt White, please.
Hello, hi there. Yeah, my name is Matt. I work as a fundraising coordinator at the Environment Centre in Swansea. We're an environmental organisation that partners with local groups to make sustainable changes.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Matt. And then Clive, please.
Hi, my name's Clive Poulton. I'm the chairman for the Carmarthenshire Disability Coalition for Action.
I'm just writing this down. Okay, thanks very much, Clive. And then Darren, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Darren. I'm a Community Development Officer for Llanelli Rural Community Council. So it's a wide-ranging job, and a lot of it is supporting local groups, you know, looking for grants and that type of thing. So yeah, interested in the crowdfunding because I was introduced to it a few years ago, but I haven't done anything since, so it's a bit of a refresher.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you, Darren. And then Lisa, please.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm the Services Manager at Area 43 in Cardigan. We're a young person's charity, drop-in centre, almost a youth cafe, and we provide counselling services across Ceredigion, Carmarthenshire and Pembrokeshire to young people.
Thanks very much, Lisa. And then finally, Rachel, please.
I'm Rachel Eagles, and I'm the CEO at the same organisation as Lisa, so all of the above.
Fantastic. All right, brilliant. So what I'm just going to do, I'll just go through the presentation. It's about 10 minutes, and then I'll take some Q&A afterwards. So I'll just crack on. Can you all see that presentation? Okay, see the slides? Thumbs up if you can. Yeah, okay, brilliant. So I am the Wales Development Manager at Localgiving. So I'm covering Lauren Swain's maternity leave. May have met Lauren before, you might not have, but she's been doing a fantastic job. So it's quite easy to sort of slot in. But yeah, I'm the contact for Localgiving in Wales. And now there we go. So just to say that Localgiving is not for profit. So we don't make money from we make a slight amount of money from some aspects of your donation, but we don't charge commission. We have a standard fee each year, but that's waived for certain things that we've got. So two things that I'm promoting today: give free membership. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you an overview of us, tell you about the Crowdfund Wales programme, which might be of interest to some of you, introduce you to Magic Little Grants, talk you through the eligibility criteria, which is the same for both the Crowdfund Wales programme and Magic Little Grants. And I'm going to get you to consider why people give and think about your own organisation and an appeal that you might run. Just to say, you don't need to write anything down frantically because these slides will be shared afterwards. So you will have copies of this and you can get all the information from there. But so our mission is to strengthen UK communities by safeguarding the sustainability of the local voluntary sector, which is a mouthful, but in essence means that we want to support people to raise money for themselves. So to be less reliant on grants and more able to fundraise themselves. And in order to do that, we offer tools, training and advice to local groups, and we help them connect with supporters online, improve their digital skills and develop practical fundraising experience. And most of the groups that we work with are very small, so we're used to working with total novices and getting them to a stage where they feel quite competent with their fundraising. And we are a UK-wide organisation, so we've helped people raise 40 million plus across the UK, and that's in a mixture of different ways. But one of the things we also do is we distribute match funding, and we also give out grants. So just at the moment, people think, well, they did particularly last year, that it wasn't a good time to ask people to give, and lots of fundraising campaigns either stopped or people just put it on hold. But actually it is a really good time to give, so or to ask really, and for people to give, because there are lots of people sitting in front of their laptops, not really doing too much, not away on their usual holidays, out and about. So with 46.6 million people using the internet daily, you have a captive audience sitting there waiting to donate some money. Obviously, the pandemic's adversely affected some people, but for others, they have got more disposable income. So we are seeing a rise in the online donations that we have. And so why the Crowdfund Wales programme? Well, this is just one quote. So somebody said online fundraising can be difficult for ultra-local organisations, especially those that lack time and resource, add financial pressures into the mix, and it can lead groups to focus heavily on grant funding. It's just basically people don't know how to do it. They just don't know. They don't think they've got the digital skills. You don't have to be incredibly techy to do it, but they're just unaware. So we start with people from where they're at. What you get from the Crowdfund Wales programme. So we have run programmes in the past. The last one concluded early last year. We started one in December. It's for 3 years, so people can join at any point throughout the 3 years, and we'll be supporting 150 groups, and we've currently got 19 on the books. So it's a year's subsidised membership to Localgiving, so it's free membership. We will train you in how to raise money online. You'll have support in raising and setting up an online campaign to raise £1,750 towards a need of your choice, or in excess of that. So we have groups that are looking to raise £10,000 from a mixture of different means. But when you get to 1,750, you'll have £250 match funding from us. And you also have access to Localgiving's other campaigns. So I'm going to cover Magic Little grants, but also we do things like Local Hero, Grow Your Tenor. We're doing a small charity week challenge at the moment online. So you'd have information and be told about all of those things that we have on. This is just to say our progress so far. Is that we've worked with, I can't take credit for it because I've only obviously worked with the 19 and the ones from Magic Little Grants, but Lauren has worked with in excess of 350 groups, and that's from every local authority across Wales. We've offered over 4,000 hours of support. We offer workshops. We also do lots of one-to-one. Initially, when people start up, we do lots of hand-holding just to make sure they've got through the whole process. We've now raised 1.3 million, so I need to update that slide, and we've distributed match funding, and that's one-off donations and regular donations. And in the first 9 months of COVID-19, we supported charities to raise in excess of £510,000. So people were giving last year. And this is just really from the previous programme. We haven't assessed the programme yet because obviously people are just starting their appeals. So we've got, I think, out of the 19, we've got 8 have launched their appeals already, and the others are just starting because we only launched in January. So 94% of people from our programmes have said that this has increased their confidence with online fundraising, and 100% found the programme had a positive impact on their online fundraising too. So good feedback. So in order to register for the Crowdfund Wales programme, it's just simply to click a link and you'll have this sent round afterwards. And then you have to upload some documents. So I'll go through that in a moment, but also you do a short grant application to tell us what you want to raise the money for. And that's just to show your commitment towards the grant. So we ask you to complete that, and then I give people the outcome within about 48 hours. So on to Magic Little grants. So we are also distributing Magic Little grants out on behalf of People's Postcode Lottery or the Postcode Community Trust in Wales. And we launched them in March, and they're available until October, and they're available to all of our members. So people that are still with Localgiving, they can apply for them every year. So we have people that have had grants every year since we started this. It's a £500 grant. It asks very few questions. It's for any groups that have their income of less than 250,000. For any groups where their income is in excess of 250,000, we encourage them to look at People's Postcode Lottery community grants. So they will fund small groups, £500 to £2,000, and they will fund charities up to £20,000. We have got 300 grants ring fenced for Wales. I think so far we've distributed 78, so we've got plenty left. It's really easy to apply for. I know it sounds like I'd say that because I work for Localgiving, but it really is. It's a straightforward application form, and it's a very short summary, which is word capped, about what you want the money for. And you also get subsidised membership for 1 year, so you don't pay the £96, which is the regular fee. I'm sorry this slide hasn't been translated yet because I've just dropped it in today, but this is because people thought it was just sporting, because it was all sport related in the past and we only took grants connected with sport. But now it's 8 different areas. So I think you would be quite hard pushed to not fit your proposal into one of the areas. And if you can't, then have a chat with me and I can help you. But some of the ones that are more popular have been the improving mental wellbeing lately, and the sporting one, because historically that's what we funded. But green ones were particularly welcoming. So anybody that's doing anything to enable people's access to outdoor space, or anything to do with the climate emergency or sustainability, biodiversity, we're really keen on grants from those because we just don't get that many through. So yeah, we still have, like I say, we've got plenty of grants left, so please do apply. They are assessed every month. So if you put, I think the round's just closed for the 3rd round today, but it will go in for July. Who can apply? So you have to be a not-for-profit. We don't work with profit-making organisations. You have to have a bank account in your organisation's name, and that would have 2 signatories. And you also have to upload some kind of accounts. So don't think, oh, we're a new charity or we're a new group, we haven't got accounts. It could just be a profit and loss sheet, or it could be a forecast or a budget. So we're not picky. It just has to show that you know what you've got. It's for new members of Localgiving, so we don't give free membership out twice, it's just once. You have to have the resource and time to set up an appeal if you're doing the Crowdfund Wales programme. So you need to really set aside at least a week when you launch it, so that you can really actively promote on your social media, on your website, because it does, that initial boost at the start really does pay off. And for the Crowdfund Wales programme, you have to think of something that you want to raise in excess of £2,000 for. So, for example, one group that I'm working with at the moment, they have got £20,000 appeal, but they're using a blend of funding. So they've got some grants going in there, and they're also doing online donations, but they've met their 1,750 target for online donations, so they've had their match funding. But it's just easier for them to have it all in one place, and so that they can show their supporters, this is how we're getting on with our appeal. So it's a bit of a mixture. How does it all work? Well, those of you that have seen things like Just Giving, crowdfunder, Virgin Money, have given to a fundraiser, this will all be quite familiar to you. So this is what a main donation page looks like, and this is what you would use for regular donations. So your monthly donations would go to this page. You have the option of putting in a shopping list or 3 different things that their money could pay for, and it tells you a bit more about the organisation as a whole. And it's just, yeah, it's your main page that you could promote throughout the year. And this is what an appeal page looks like. So it's slightly different in that there's a target bar at the top, which shows how close you are to your target. It shows how many backers you have, how many days you have left. And you would change the different asks that you have here. An appeal works really well because it's a really specific ask. So you're setting a time. So they don't work well if they run for in excess of 3 months. We tell people to think about 3 weeks to 3 months. Some of the better ones do achieve 30% really quickly. And once you've got over the 30% amount, you're kind of on your way right there then. It will highlight a specific thing that you're raising money for, so people can quite clearly see it's not for general funds, it's for something. So this one was building a better pavilion for all of Grangetown. It will say on there all of the information. It usually has a quote as well, and it focuses the funding ask. It focuses on the funding ask and creates the sense of urgency. And then you can have as many fundraiser pages as you want. So a good way to start off an appeal is to link a fundraiser to it. So we would say just have all of your ducks in one row, everything lined up before you launch, and then, you know, have your people either a donation already in that appeal, or you have people lined up to make the donation, because people will not give to an appeal that doesn't have any money in it because they wonder why. Also, with your first appeal, you wouldn't set a massive target, because then people think, well, I've only wanted to give a £5, and a £5 is not going to do much when it's a £20,000 appeal. So you set your targets low, and it's far better to have lots of smaller appeals than it is to have one massive one. But these fundraiser pages are great for anybody that supports your group, your volunteers, your trustees, people that will do a fundraiser. And you can track all of the donations through our system. So you can see each donation has its own unique identifier, and you can see the information as well about the donors. And this is just an example. So this was the first group on the Wales programme, Sea Trust Wales. They came to us, they hadn't any experience of online, raising money online before. They were a little bit reticent because they said, oh, I don't know whether people go for this. It's about porpoises, you know, does anybody want to give? So it's a great thing in appeal is to test the water to see whether or not a project is a goer. So they had a go. They raised £2,705 in the first week. And then they grew in confidence. They eventually raised over £4,000. They did that in a kind of blended approach. So it worked really well because one person led it, but then also the whole team was behind it. So everybody was promoting, they were sharing thanks for their donors daily, publicly. They were doing small little videos, uploading those to social media. They did everything they should be doing, really. It's a great example. So they promoted really heavily in the first week or so, first 2 weeks maybe, and it really paid off. So how to ask, this is just sort of a question to put out there, really. So thinking about something that you've recently given to, if it's a fundraiser or an appeal or just a main donation page, think about why you gave to that appeal. So I was just going to put it out there, really, and see if anybody would mind sharing. If not, I can jog it on if you don't want to. So, well, some of the things people quite often we get is, well, I gave to cancer research because I was affected by cancer. The reason why appeals work well is they have to, well, when appeals work well, they have to make a real connection with the person, with the potential donor. So they have to evoke some sense of empathy with that person. So you have the great thing about them is they're specific and they've got a specific ask, but you have to position yourself as the hero. So what is it you're trying to address? What's the challenge? How are you going to go about doing it? And why are you the correct person to do that? So it's really about making a strong connection with people. When they read it, they think, oh, well, I'll have to give to that. I can't not give to that. Local causes, so people like to know that it's benefiting them, the local community. They will also give if they've been affected by something, so beneficiaries will quite often be the first port of call. Difficult if you're doing youth work though, because you don't have to want to ask young people, but then you can ask young people to do a fundraiser. So I truly believe that everyone in your network could be helping you in some way. So some could be active promoters, and it's all around positioning, really. A good time to ask is to link it to an event that's happening in the calendar. So say it's National Youth Work Week, you might launch it then, because then you can tag National Youth Work Week, you know that you've extended your reach. The other good thing that, the thing that I would suggest is to look through. So we have some people and they say to us, oh, we're never going to be able to do an appeal because we've only got 300 followers. But of those 300 followers, they all have followers. So it's about looking at your network in the broader sense and then picking people off that are key promoters or that you could line up prior to an appeal. So you might have someone on there that's a town councillor. Like I've got a town councillor that's a Facebook friend of mine, and he has thousands of people that follow him, and they all give to the cause because they see him as reputable and they connect him. So it's about just making those contacts work for you. And this is the kind of work that I will do with people, is helping them to what we call segment their supporter base. So looking at who would be a regular donor, who might be a one-off donor, and who might be the people that would actively promote or volunteer for you. So in addition to the one-to-one support, you'll also get a fundraising guidebook and toolkit. So when you log into your Localgiving account, there's all the different tools there, things like how to do a fundraising strategy, how to make the most of your donors, how to set up your appeal, all the kind of messages that I'd give, but it's all there in one place. And basically that is it really that I want to share today. So I'm available every day 9 till 5:30, and then we've got a help desk as well. If I don't answer for any reason, it's just because I'll be on a Zoom or a phone call, and I get back to people very quickly, so you can email me. But yeah, I would be the contact person, so any questions, you just sort of come to me and I'll try and help you sort them out. But that's it from me. So does anybody have anything they'd like to ask?
If I may, with regards to the appeals and you reach your target, is there then a time scale before you have to spend it on what you've said you will? Because you could be, for example, waiting for other grants and things like that coming in, and you're bound by that, really.
Right, so for appeals, no. So your appeal would be your money, so it's up to you what you do with it. So it's just purely we are holding the money and putting it in one place for you, but you draw it down. So it all goes into your bank account, but there's no time scale. There is, however, that's a good thing to raise, because there is a time scale from when you sign up for the Crowdfund Wales programme. You have to complete your appeal within 6 months. So, or sorry, no, you have to start your appeal within 6 months. Right. So, and we give you 3 months to run your appeal. So generally, if you haven't got 30% of your target within the first couple of weeks, it probably wasn't the best thing to choose. But that's my job, to help you wheedle out which is likely to get money and which isn't. So, but no, that money is there, it's yours. So whatever you want to do with it's up to you.
That's great, thanks.
Yeah, Matt?
Hi, yes, so we're already registered with Localgiving. Does that prevent us from signing up to Crowdfund Wales?
Have you ever had any match funding from it? I can check your account.
Yeah, that would be good to find out.
Yeah.
I don't think we have, no.
If you haven't had match funding, I can transfer you across if you've got something in mind that you want to raise £2,000 for.
Okay.
No problem at all. I've just done it with another organisation that were on our books for a while, but they hadn't really raised any money for ages, and they hadn't had much funding. So I was quite happy that they could come across to the programme. You wouldn't get the year's free membership because we only give that once, but you would be able to get the match funding then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else got anything they want to ask? No.
Can I ask Amy, what's your top tips of how to make a appeal stand out? Is it the photos or the videos or how you word it?
Yeah, so you've got to think about saturation of that particular thing as well. So if you are trying to go around your network and say it's something to say, everybody in your network is a child, it's a chlywch, say, everybody's doing stuff for children and they've got loads of fundraisers going on. You know, it's competitive then, isn't it? So you need to think about who in your network would support that particular appeal. And then you kind of pick people off for a particular project that you're running. But really, it's about a catchy video, you know, something short, no longer than 3 minutes. 3 minutes even is a bit too long, but that can show things. So people quite often, if you're doing up a building, the video would show what stage you were at, what you would potentially like it to look like. It's telling a story. With your appeal, it's just really, like I said, it's about connection. And also, if you can get the beneficiaries to feature in there. So if you're doing something, Lisa, I think was working, was it Lisa or was it Rachel? Lisa, it was working with young people. then on there you want to have the young people, them saying this project has had such a good impact on me. I wouldn't have. In fact, even better, get the young people to make the video, because they will make it viral, because they'll stick it everywhere. So it's about really making the most of your ambassadors, but also having something quite punchy. I've seen appeals where they've given reams and reams of information and I've had to go in and clip it, because people won't read all of that. They just want to know really quickly how that money is going to make have an impact. Another mistake that people make is they will hide their donate link. So it's not obvious. So what we say is put a donate button on your website, or if you're on Facebook, have the link to your donation page prominent. If it's on Twitter, pin your post or pin the tweet so that people can see straight away where it is. If they have to rummage through your website, or if they have to click here and click here and click here, the donation flow is not easy for them and it puts people off. So just be really specific about what you're asking for. And it's just, like I say, it's all about telling the story and how you will change it. Some of the better appeals, I think, will say things on there like, we welcome you to get involved in this, to help us build this. And they very much take it from a community development approach. We're interested in everybody informing this project, and we really need your help. And the other thing that some people don't do, which you must do, is say at the bottom, thank you for your kind or your generous donation, because psychologically people are more likely to give you money then. If you don't put it on there, oh, that's interesting, and click off. But yeah, and also I suppose this is probably several different aspects of your question, Larry, but one of the things is just really looking at your network. So people give to people. That's why I think Sea Trust Wales did really well with their first appeal, because the person that was leading it was, well connected and had everybody lined up. And people thought, well, if she's such a strong ambassador, she's a reputable person, definitely if she's promoting something, we'll give to her. Which then means that you have to select a different person really to lead every appeal. It works better that way rather than it being the same person asking. But sorry, that was a really long way of answering. Be punchy, be catchy, be in everybody's faces, ask all the time, update all the time. Thank you very much to Katie today, who donated £50 to our appeal. That's helped us buy blah, blah. You have to just do it all the time.
That's great, thank you. And it's nice that you said at the end, thank you to Katie, to help us with. So you're showing them what the donation has been given or how that supported you. That's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
a reminder as well.
Is there anything else anybody'd like to ask? No? Okay, so I must have covered most things then. So just email me if there's anything you want to ask about your particular project, and look forward to reading your applications, because they really apply for a grant. I would urge you to, because we've got them waiting there ready and I want to give them away. So we don't want to have to decommission any money back. We want to just get them all spent in Wales.
Well, diolch yn fawr, Amy. Thank you very much, Amy. It was really helpful, especially I think digital fundraising is so important these days that it's really helpful session. So would you like me to send you everyone's contact details after the session?
Yeah, or I can just, if you want to, I can send my presentation around, and then there's no pressure on anybody, but if you can circulate that, it's got my details, and then if anybody wants to ask, they can.
Yeah, great.
And Matt, I'll check it out and I'll get back in touch with you.
All right, okay. Well, thank you very much for coming, everybody.
And thanks very much for the opportunity as well. Thanks for setting it up.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.